Labour Chief Lim Swee Say said on Saturday at the sidelines of NTUC celebrations of International Women's Day that it will reorganise its 61 unions into 10 to 12 clusters like manufacturing and services, and that each cluster will set its own targets in line with the national push for economic restructuring and raising productivity. The focus on clusters and their unique challenges is aimed at raising Singapore's competitiveness and real wages.
For the labour movement, our three top priorities is firstly to ensure that every major sector of the economy will remain competitive as we go through this change. Secondly, to make sure that the Singaporean core in each of these major sectors can be further strengthened. And thirdly, to ensure that in every sector, the inclusiveness of low-wage workers, back-to-work women, mature workers, mature PMEs and so on, I think we must make sure that they're part of this whole process of change, whole process of upgrading. So the labour movement, we are committed to play our part. In fact, we are now in the process of regrouping ourselves, all our resources, our expertise, to ensure that the labour movement will lend our fuller support to the workers, to the economies, to the companies in all these major sectors. We recognize that the issue of competitiveness, the issue of strengthening Singaporean core and inclusive growth, I think it does vary across sectors because every sector, the situation is quite different. So therefore, we have decided that we will focus on some of the key clusters. It could be from manufacturing to services. It could cover some of the domestic bound sectors as well as the export-oriented sector. So in other words, what we want to do is to focus on each of these sectors and to ask ourselves and to ask our tripartite partners what can be done to make sure that these sectors will become even more competitive as we go through this restructuring. How can we make sure that the role of Singaporean in terms of being the core of these respective sectors can be further strengthened? Because in some sectors, the cores have been weakening over the decades. In some sectors, the cores have been aging over the years. In some sectors, they've has become unattractive to young Singaporeans for whatever reasons. So basically what I want to do is to look sector by sector to see us ourselves what can be done to ensure that the jobs in these sectors are good jobs, the pay are good pay, at the same time the prospects are good. Right? So, and with that, how can we reach out further to bring Singaporeans into these sectors? And for those Singaporeans who are already in the sectors, how can we upgrade them so that they can become more capable, more competent, and hopefully for the Singapore economy, on the one hand, to be more competitive, and yet at the same time, ensure that workers across all these sectors will be able to enjoy real wage increase in a sustainable manner. I think that really is a priority.
What are some of these sectors? Examples?
Okay. These sectors are quite wide-ranging. They cover from manufacturing to services. So, for example, it could cover the electronic manufacturing, precision manufacturing, petrochemical, and so on. And for services, it ranges from education to entertainment to healthcare and so on. So, in other words, in order for us to achieve a broad-based real wage increase, our reach must be as wide as possible. So, as I say, from manufacturing to services, from domestic bound to export-oriented. Yeah.
Any targets to set for yourself? Looking at some of these sectors.
Yeah, we'll be setting targets sector by sector. So within each cluster, the NTUC, the labour movement, together with the unions, with the tripartite partners, we basically ask ourselves the next 1 year, the next 2 years, the next 3 years, now what kind of outcome we would like to achieve for each of these clusters. So targets will be set at the cluster level. The tripartite partnership will be strengthened at the individual cluster level, so that at the end of the day, we hope that the tripartite partnership must be strong not only at the national level, but equally, if not more important, is to be strong at the individual cluster level as well, because many of the challenges, many of the outcomes, we have to achieve at the cluster level.
When can we expect these clusters to be named and the targets to be given public?
Yeah. We hope to set up between 10 to 12 clusters, and that we hope that all this can be put in place over the next couple of months. Of course, not all classes will be ready all at the same time. So what it means is that we'll be launching them one by one as and when each class is ready. But we hope that all the 10 to 12 classes or so will be ready go into action within the next 3 months. Only action will produce outcome. And I think that's why we are going to pursue this cluster development approach to the fullest by making sure that all the tripartite partners, including the relevant ministries and departments, will all come in to play our part so that we can hopefully achieve outcomes faster and maybe even more impactful.
Watch our other clip to find out why 4 in 5 Singaporeans are happy. This is according to a poll unveiled at the Labour Movement's celebrations of International Women's Day.